All right, so let's finish the problem. So remember, we're dealing with the data from Table 74, the IRS standard mileage rates for businesses. So we're talking about a tax deduction for you traveling. So in the last video, if you watched it, and if you haven't, you might want to go see it. In the last one, we had calculated the equation of a line that estimated the amount you're going to get on your deduction for the amount of mileage that you had driven. And so we had said in 1990, it started at 10.28 cents per mile, but then every year that value increased by 2.17 cents. So the input was T years since 1990, and the output was the mileage rate in cents per mile. Okay, so let me copy this. And now we're going to use this information. So we found the equation, we interpreted the parts, and now we're going to use it. So if a person will drive 12,500 miles on a business trip in 2014, predict how much money she will be able to deduct for driving expenses. Okay, now we have to deal with kind of the second part first, because the first question, well, what was the mileage rate that the person would be getting in 2014? That's the first question. So let me put my equation here. Here it comes. Nope. Here, one, part two. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing I need to ask, one, is what was the mileage rate mileage rate in 2014? Okay, so that is what my equation answers. I give it a time, years since 1990, and it gives me the mileage rate. So all I need to do is plug in the number of years that 2014 is from 1990. So that's 24 years ago. So it's 24 years difference. So 2014 is 24 years since 1990. All right, so now 2.17 times 24 plus 10.28. All right, now I need to go to my calculator and just work that out. So, see, 2.17 times, excuse me, not 14, 24, plus 10.28. Okay, so here's my output, 62.36. Okay, so that is my mileage rate in 2014. Okay, so now that I know that, I can actually tackle my problem. So, secondly, this person has driven 12,500 miles. So 12,500 miles times my rate, which was 62.36 cents per every mile. So my miles cancel and I'll just get a units of cents. So I need to multiply 12, 12,500 times 62.36. So I'll go here. So 12,500 times 62.36. All right, so 77,900, 500. Okay, so 779,500. So this is okay. So 779,500 watts. What's the units? It's the cents. So this is cents. So maybe just to make this make sense to us, we should probably figure out how many dollars that will be. So we need to reinterpret that not as pennies but as dollars. So we would there's 100 cents in every dollar. So this would be 779 500 divided by 100. So the 100 would just cancel out these zeros right there, and you'd be left with 7,795. So $7,000, 795 would be the estimated refund for the business mileage right there. All right, good. So that answers then part E of the problem. Now let's go to the last one, which was part F. So for the first 3 months in 1999, the mileage rate was 32.5 cents per mile. But for the rest of the year, it was 31 cents per mile. Explain why the estimate of 31.4 cents was used in table 74. So the first thing I'm going to do is look over at table 74, look at the year 1990, and yep, indeed was 31.4. And so what they're saying is, in the year 1999, it was not 31.4 cents all year long. No, actually, it was 32.5 cents for the first 3 months and then 31 cents for the rest of it. Now, do note, this will probably be helpful, that 3 months is 1/4 of a year. So when in business they talk about first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, those are 3-month increments. All right. So really what this is telling us was that for the first quarter, it was 32.5 cents per mile. And then for the second through fourth quarter, I'll just abbreviate quarter here, quarter, it was 31 cents per mile. All right, so basically what we need to do is just average this out. So remember that an average would be something like this. The first quarter was 32.5. The second quarter was 31. The third quarter was 31. And the fourth quarter was 31. And this would be all over 4. This would be the average. And so you could rewrite this as 32.5 plus 3 times 31. So those 3/4 at 31 cents per mile divided by 4. So that'll be easier for me to type into my calculator. All right. So 32.5 plus 3 times 31, so 31 cents for the remaining 3/4. Push enter, divide it by 4, and what number does it give us? 31.375. Which I guess would round up to 31.4, which was the value in the table. So that is how they calculated it. All right, so that's a problem. So the next set of videos that I'll be making for this class will be dealing with the exponential problem that we also did. So make sure that you understand this one for linear regression and understand the parts. The most important parts would be finding the equation of line, interpreting slope, interpreting the y-intercept, and using it. This last one, this F, finding the average, this is just icing on the cake, just kind of getting us to think a little bit harder about the problem. If you're going into statistics, you'll be thinking about these averages all the time. It's really important that you kind of start getting your head wrapped around these concepts. So, all right, hopefully that was helpful to you.